you don't get a Sergeant Hammer, the true idea, the true answer, add more hammers. Yrel and Muradin seem to be working out pretty well for simplicity, so we'll put more in, like Thrall and Uther. Who else has hammers that we can add to that?
I don't know. Phoenix is...
No.
If you think about it, hold on. The way he walks is like hammers going down. Tell me that's not a hammer movement.
It's not a hammer movement. Up next, Tomb of the Spider Queen, which we've got some info for you.
Okay, so Bro Sidon, if you are listening, we need to see Harrison Jones here. So we got a tweet from CJ, works with Blizzard, said he checked with their lead writer, Justin. Thank you, team, for tweeting that out to us. But Tomb of the Spider Queen is indeed intended to be below Sky Temple,
Confirmed.
where Harrison Jones, if you've played WoW, you know who Harrison Jones is. Conveniently enough, he's similarly to another fictional character.
No, completely different.
Completely different, but one of our own in Blizzard. He's up to shenanigans in this. If you've never seen the little Easter eggs on this, hopefully, Rosanna, if you're listening, we love you. Harrison Jones has some shenanigans in that he appears continue in Sky Temple. Really cool.
Hey, shout outs to Harrison Jones, the real MVP. No, and for reals, thank you for letting us know that. That is amazing. I thought so, but like didn't want to say for sure and be wrong, because that would be something that never happens as a caster. I don't know why we stuck on my...
They were waiting for me to talk to give me the single, and I wanted to leave you hanging because I'm like, yep.
It's Sunday, boys and girls, and it's a fun day. That last Towers of Doom game, so amazing, so fun. Simplicity fought back valiantly, ended up winning off of that monstrous run back. Like, it was great.
I don't know what to expect from Simplicity this game, but their drafts these first two games I think have been great. Obviously, the Uther struggled at times, but I feel they countered the draft pretty well, as evidenced by a win. Wasn't easy, but game number one draft obviously looked really good. I'm expecting more of this from Simplicity, and after the double 2 Muradin games in King Caffeine, he made a name for himself on Muradin back in the day, played some Garrosh at times. We've seen the Diablo ban. Are we going to see that focused by Node tomorrow? Are you willing to pick that style of play? And if you're going to play the non-mobile heroes, do you ban out Yrel? Because Zuna's been killing it there. You've got to figure out something, because that front line of Zuna and King Caff, it's been pretty impactful so far.
Yeah, it goes from Muradin to Murderdin. Is what it feels like. It was something that was denied from Fury and successful there, so maybe that is something that Jhin can do. It feels like in general, didn't mean for that pun to happen, Jhin has been focused a lot in the drafts. He has been, though. Simplicity has twice now banned a warrior, banned his Diablo away, and his Diablo is phenomenal. I think that'll continue. But if Jhin doesn't get his warrior before the second set of bans, then what ends up happening is another warrior gets banned, and he just has been having trouble having the same kind of effect as that Diablo.
Diablo, Yrel, strong points, but the Muradin. Is Johanna enough? We haven't seen the Johanna really. I think she was banned in second ban.
He played her last game.
Well, last game. Well, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Tomb here.
Oh, right.
I'm just the Yrel alone.
Yeah, it's...
In double ban phase, there's been so many assassins banned that I think that's what kind of scares me the most. In a weird way, I want a Tassadar here. Give me a hosty Tassadar. Used to be pretty good at that. I'm sure he probably still is.
Yeah, it's not really, doesn't feel like a K1 Pro hero.
No.
We're waiting on one player, and whoever you are, we're watching you.
Harrison Jones is watching you. He's sneaky. Sneaky.
Well, yeah, he's got relics to take, people to see, meetings to keep.
At least he's not taking people. That would be weird.
That would be weird. That's not something we advocate, unless you have a Stitches Medivh.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's...
Or Malthael. I guess he takes your soul more than he takes the person. Am I wrong?
These are the things we talk about when waiting for the draft to begin.
Am I wrong, though? Doesn't he take souls?
Yeah, he rips them.
He literally has
soul rip.
That's terrifying.
I know.
It's making me picture the cinematic. Those scythes that he carries. I remember the first time when I played Reaper of Souls, and I got there and I got to play face against Malthael.
Uh-huh.
He's pretty wild, man.
Did you lose?
Nah, I mean, Diablo 3, when it was first released, my goodness, that was a very difficult game to play at the max level. They fixed a lot of that, and it became one of the best games ever.
Belial.
Dude, Belial
was terrifying.
First go around, you're like, why? Why? Because you have
first, like 7th, you're still
you have
like,
to go through like the gauntlet just to get to him, and then he's like, surprise, I'm a giant terrorist menacing beast monster demon.
Yep. That is word for word what he says. Tracer and Raynor, as we continue the Assassin ban. Is this where Urel gets banned? Yes. No Tomorrow's had enough with Zuna's Urel, and well warranted. Very warranted. Now Simplicity, this would be the place where they would take Jin's Diablo away. That's worked for them thus far, 2 games in a row, so I don't see them. I do see them changing their mind, and they ban Johanna here, but of course, Johanna, the wave clear she provides, super nice on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Which leaves open the Garrosh potential for both teams.
Both teams love playing Blaze here, so leaving up Johanna, or leaving up Diablo, if that was the case, no Tomorrow, take that, run with it. Now Simplicity can still get Blaze with Urel being gone. If that was the means of execution, you know, Johanna is very good on Tomb, but if that was the means of execution, and we see Blaze here, I think that that's a really nice adaptation for Simplicity.
Muradin got, okay, they're going to take the Phoenix. I think the risk of giving Phoenix away with the Diablo might have been too much.
For sure, but yeah, I guess but they could have Phoenix blazed. But then I guess they would not have gotten Muradin. I do like that Muradin.
So for No Tomorrow, we know they like to run Gul'dan. This is an easier map, I think, to run Gul'dan than Volskaya. You don't have the threat of a Urel on top of you. They're going to go Jaina instead. Also a very strong hero on this battleground.
This is already a standout comp for No Tomorrow. I'm liking what I'm seeing from this. Just being able to get the Diablo alone. But we'll see if Blaze is still up. Genji's going to be banned by Simplicity. No Tomorrow did not get their solo laner, so it might be entirely possible they want to leave up Blaze so there's still options for themselves without or limiting so many of them.
Sergeant Hammer.
I don't even Simplicity has not been playing Hammer on Tomb. They did have a good Junkrat game.
Hanzo to me stands out. The Hanzo Phoenix is a strong composition unless they want to bring in some mage style.
Blaze. Gimme Alex. Nice. Fire Squad. Activate. Just draft Kael'thas next.
Don't tease me. Still waiting for his magnificent return.
Probably, it's likely to be a Thrall again, I think.
Yeah.
The Thrall Phoenix. Meanwhile, last 2 choices for No Tomorrow. Gonna need a solo laner versus Blaze. Don't have to worry about Urel though. Does Tomster want to play there? Leo, I like it. And they get the Hanzo.
So Leo does have the wave clear. Can get the Entomb onto those healing areas. Alex Straza, Lifebinder if you get in a pickle. Bunker there. We've seen Bunker used just outside of an Entomb. You can get into it over that wall. Apparently it's like a fence you can scale. Muradin, Dwarf Toss, Warp Out. We're going to get a Greymane at the back end of this.
Yeah, it may be the change up of seeing the Leoric and having so many melee be stuck inside that Entomb is enough to want to have Greymane, though the Bunker, like you said, will be able to help out with that somewhat. And then there's also things like Wing Buffet from a Dragon Queen to knock people back. But I'm excited because with a Leoric and a Diablo and Lightning Breath being in the meta, it's time for an easy bake oven.
Ooh, it's been a bit. Lightning Breath's better than it was before.
Yeah.
Instead of just like slightly browning stuff. It's now burning things to a crisp, incinerating them. It wouldn't do that before.
Yeah, it's not original recipe. This is extra crispy.
Ooh.
And with the slow on that, trying to exit the entomb or just wait it out at the edge, like sometimes you'll see at the end, you're just staring at the back of the entomb until it goes down. You're going to take maximum amounts of hits from that lightning breath, so you will have that slow. We've seen a lot of water elemental. I think it's very easy that we see a possible ring of frost to go along with that.
The worst part about being stuck in stuff like that is you could probably turn and auto attack once or cast some abilities, but you're constantly like right-clicking to get out of there.
You really do see people like, here's the entomb, just like...
Yeah, they're just wiggling at the back of their character. I was like, how do I get out of this thing? Why can't I walk through these bars? It's a real thing.
And then my favorite thing, level 20, Nasmus showed it earlier today, the Buried Alive, with the silence behind it. There's no getting out once that comes in.
Unless there's a bunker on the other side, which can be executed well. That is one of the very few things that work.
And we'll be on note tomorrow to see if they can force that before the entomb hits. What?
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing?
I forgot that came through. I didn't hit the talkback button. So the way that you get Harrison Jones activated at the top left, in between the keep and the fort, there's a little gem up at the top. It's like a purple gem. You click on it.
Oh, that's right.
And then Harrison Jones comes down.
Right
Unfortunately,
there.
in observer mode, the yellow gem, I should say, once you click on it a few times, unfortunately, as an observer, you're not able to activate it. Rip.
Harrison
Which is why you heard me yell
Jones.
no. I got so disappointed.
Harrison Jones continues to elude us here at the HGC. One day, my friend. Tiger JK is globe stacking his Alexstrasza, which on Tomb of the Spider Queen is something that you can do pretty fast with the lanes being so close together in the rotations, as long as the team is coordinating those. Also, we see the change-up of laning to put Zuna in the top. This is nice for simplicity because it puts Phoenix against that Leoric, and then Zuna doesn't have to be dealing with those pesky drain, hope, percent-based damage.
It gives you more kill potential, and that's weird to say because, well, Phoenix does damage. Well, Phoenix does very well in the solo lane, but for Blaze has setup potential, and Greymane has enough kill potential. So if you can get the jet propulsion in, get the stun, it allows for easy follow-up. And there's a look at how strong Phoenix is in the solo lane versus other melee.
When Drain Hope comes out, you warp back, and then that gets rid of it. And as long as the team is coordinating and communicating rotations from the rest of the team when people are off map, then Phoenix needs to be more careful because Diablo, Jaina, Malfurion will wreck him. They will be able to take him out. But as long as Simplicity is communicating that, then it's a great adjustment made from Simplicity. And like you were talking about, when you have a lot of crowd control, that's what you look for a lot of the times, as well as early game damage. But when you're looking at, you know, do we have the kill potential in the early game? Both teams are going to get their bruisers for this mid lane, trying to get a advantage there. Simplicity picks theirs up a little bit faster than what would have allowed them to defend underneath the turrets, but they're being able to defend anyway. And with the Stormbolt, look for that jet propulsion to follow up. There it is. Hosty's there for the damage. First blood.
There's the kill potential. I'm glad they showcased it. That's exactly what it looks like early game. You get the lead-in stun with Murd and the follow-up CC, and the kill potential of Greymane is so incredibly high from minute 1 in this game till the very end. They executed it very well. They also get some gems turned in. Get those out of the pocket. 27 turned in after they were sitting on 0 for a while.
Aussie and Renewal. Talent pickup for Leoric. We are on Tomb of the Spider Queen, talked about globes and the availability of them here, and having the cooldown reduction from the Regent Globe so that he can get an activatable heal will help Tomster versus the Phoenix in this bottom lane and otherwise in the team fights to boot. But with Greymane now, Simplicity's going to rotate him down and start to work on getting that camp. No tomorrow. Do not show up despite knowing that it's happening, so they're just going to see what they can get elsewhere.
They haven't been able to turn in too much just yet. The denial of Blaze has pretty decent poke. Murden not so much. The threat of Diablo around those turn-in points to counter that is always what's the most scary, as Casanova's made his way down to help deal with those catapults. The Simplicity out to a very good start in this game.
Yeah, their push in mid-top with their wave clear has been excellent. The Phoenix keeping or holding his own in the bottom lane, and more gems turned in. They have enough for an actual web weaver phase. And then push away Tomster, get some damage, some more damage put in with a phase bomb from K1 Pro. But for Simplicity now, it's all about can they get control over these turn-in points long enough to start getting some web weavers going. Because with the gray main, with the Phoenix, they're going to be able to siege quite well.
One of the scary things for me on No Tomorrow's side, Leoric is a warrior, but he is very reliant on landing his Drain Hope, getting that life back. If you don't land that in the middle of a team fight, Leoric is just as susceptible to getting blown up as a Malfurion, a Jaina, or a Hanzo. Diablo, obviously, once he has souls, is very tanky. But the rest of No Tomorrow could be a liability at various points from every member of Simplicity with the amount of damage they can put out.
Well, I think that's why we're seeing the adjustment of Ossian Renewal for him, having some more of his own heals. He also picked Willing Vessel, which is not something we often see at level 7. Nature's Cure after the jet propulsion stun on Jin. Jin's gonna fire right back with a stun on King Caffeine, who dies as he was jumping to safety.
Yeah, they dove in very deep
Casanova.
there. They're trying to trade here. Casanova goes in. K1 Pro with the assault. Does he get it? He gets the splash damage from that level 1. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what that looks like, Casanova just got deleted by it.
I love watching K1 Pro play this Phoenix. He is all in, but when it works, it looks good. Simplicity end up that trade with the web weavers, though. They'll have Muradin back a little bit faster since the Jaina was the last one to go down, and they are just looking to clear out as many minion waves as they can to get the web weavers right on top of structures. This is a possible place for Simplicity to pull out a big lead in this game.
They have a lot of sieging potential. Phoenix and Greymane alone, they're still looking for a kill. As King Caffeine, if you ever want to see how Simplicity is engaging, just watch the Muradin. He is the setup man. He does some damage, but he is the initiator in all of these team fights. Zuna will be the next to follow. There's number 1. There's number 2. Unfortunately, they don't have anybody to follow up, but is it even needed? The oil goes down, the flames are there, and it's enough to confirm the kill. And they pull out another one. They are close to 10. If they can get 10, he can drop down Bunker if needed. Phoenix died elsewhere.
But Akaface will go down, making that a 2-for-1 as Simplicity get their heroic abilities. Who needs a damage dealer follow-up when you have a Zuna Blaze popping off? Still waiting on the heroic ability of Phoenix. I wonder if there is a world where you pick Planet Cracker against the Entomb, but no. I just didn't know, like, you know, everyone's going to be filing in, trying to put damage in. Maybe that scares you enough.
It's like Lava Wave. It's like an electric Lava Wave.
We call that the electric slide.
I think we're going to have to work on that name. We'll come up with something else. For Simplicity, 4 kills to 2. Did get that top fort down. Just shy of getting another turn in. No Tomorrow, they've struggled. Only 5 total gems turned in. There's 1, there's 2. There's the 1-2 punch. Curse Bullet following up. Here comes the damage. Jin trying to survive, getting the heals. That's enough.
He flipped over the bunker, the Zuna, who ended up using Bunker because of the lightning breath, but he flipped him over, and that ended up putting Zuna in a pretty good spot for a body block for some time, but thankfully Jin had full souls, and we saw Akaface show up in time so that he could keep him healed up, and now with all of that focus from Simplicity turned toward getting a reset on those souls. No Tomorrow get web weavers, and they too have a lot of great wave clear with their composition, so we'll see what they can do with them.
Right now the attention is full mid. As Jin comes in, Curse Bullet ripped in return. That mage is down from the bruiser camp, so no spell armor to minimize the damage coming back in. from Simplicity. Blaze almost done with that top. Will make his way down momentarily. No Tomorrow starting to run out of steam. K1 Pro, he's going to back off until the rest of his team shows up.
Now this dual solo lane approach for Simplicity is working out very well when it comes to defending the Web Weavers though too, because K1 Pro in one lane and Blaze in another. Blaze dealt with a Web Weaver far back, so it couldn't do anything top. They did take some structure damage bot, but the idea that Simplicity now has been able to defend a Web Weaver phase that No Tomorrow had and still has this much of an experience lead works out beautifully for them.
King Caffeine just constantly on the prowl, looking for a target there. He's just going to set up. He has to avoid walls, else that's going to happen. The flip back Roots just out of range, but the threat on King Caffeine's life is there. Zuna trying to get the interrupt on the backside. Akaface able to get a couple turned in.
This Web Weaver phase is going to likely be a lot of what we look at for how this game ends up turning out. Purification Salvo, King Caffeine slowed to death almost, but has the life binder. Zuna's gonna charge on in with the jet propulsion, bunker blocking, but Jin goes over the wall, seeing K1 Pro as a way to see if he could just make it out of there alive. Souls reset as Diablo falls. Now Tomster finds himself deep in the lines of Simplicity. Zuna looking all over the place. King Caffeine's not the only one on the prowl for kills.
It's crazy. I feel bad, bro. Siding back there, it's like, guys, I can only zoom out so far. Just like our Towers of Doom fight, these teams will take fights on all fronts. And another fight in favor of Simplicity, also resetting the soul count of Diablo.
That does mean that Diablo's back in action, but now Simplicity have 13 and had a Bruiser camp pushing during the brunt of that fight, which did half of the fort damage in the mid before it was cleared out. That gave time and space for Simplicity to get the next turn-in, and why I said that the next turn-in was going to be so crucial is because Simplicity had done a lot more structural damage with their turn-in and would be able to undo anything that No Tomorrow did, whereas No Tomorrow would be able to get a double phase going and would finally get structures down. But unfortunately for No Tomorrow, they lose Diablo, maybe more, with Zuna Pyromania in the back line. Doesn't have bunker, he'd already used it. There's an Tomb down.
Salvo out in return. The Dragon is here. Tomster, he could be the next target. The stun just misses. Tranquility forced out here. There's No Tomorrow retreating. The bot lane did have Siege Giants to deal with that bot lane. Top lane has a Jaina able to obliterate that Web Weaver, and we're going to push through the mid here for Simplicity.
Tiger JK's Dragon, Queens, and Alex Shaw's play in general has been excellent. The cycling of abilities with Dragon Queen and Lifebinder always having something up. Lifebinder is a pretty shorter cooldown, so that's likely, but he's been playing this excellently. Also playing my favorite Alex Shaw's skin, so just want to shout that one out. But everything is looking good for Simplicity as they hope to get their second win in HGC Phase 2 over No Tomorrow, currently up 2-0.
They got to get out of here. Entomb is available if Tomster wants to rip that. Simplicity stuck around a little bit longer than I would have anticipated. They're close to 16. They back away. They're a ways away from another turn-in.
But Boss is up once they get that 16.
Yeah. For them, their lead is so substantial. I think they have the opportunity here to just sit back, defend with 16, keep the lanes pushed out, and continue to soak those gems towards 60. And if you have the chance to fight, then you take it. But 16 still just moments away for this team.
Dragon's Arrow, Tomster's coming back in. Saw that Dragon's Arrow, an immediate ghost turnaround. Tranquility starting to heal up ahead of the Purification Salvo. Nice job by Akaface there. Nature's Cure, Zuna away from the bunker with the Entomb. Got the Lifebinder, doesn't matter. A welcome kill for No Tomorrow.
Hosty's got to get out of here. Tomster's continuing to make plays happen. Dwarf toss out, but the body block, the slow, should be enough time for No Tomorrow to complete a turn-in. So the rest of Simplicity will have to deal without Blaze just a little while longer.
Well, 16 was almost there for Simplicity, but good on No Tomorrow to utilize what seemed like a near impossible window and get that kill. Just the threat alone of Leoric forcing Simplicity back through that choke and then having the Dragon's Arrow behind that and then the turnaround there separated the team in the hallway. It was a cool way to take that fight for No Tomorrow, and with that, they get the 1 kill needed to get this Web Weaver phase and start working toward their own 16.
Posty
is dead.
He tried to rip a kill there, but he was on an island. Dragon Arrow's gonna hit onto a couple of members. Lifebinder, it's not enough to keep King Caffeine alive, and things falling apart all of a sudden for Simplicity to charge into the Entomb. That's a 3rd kill. Zuna, he's in trouble. Pyromania is keeping him alive for now as he jet propulsions away, but just like that, No Tomorrow back in this game.
When a bunker drops like that, that is punishable by an Entomb. Tomster recognizing Jin, diving in. Damage too much twice for Lifebinder to keep the heal up. It takes a couple of seconds for the big equalizer heal, and before that, the change-up of having the heal before is just not enough to keep these targets alive through a Jaina Hanzo. And now 16, even the Diablo, the damage he can do everybody. Far too much. First keep of the game claimed by No Tomorrow after Simplicity had control of much of this game.
No Tomorrow went from a level and a half to almost 2 levels down to a level and a half up in the blink of an eye.
And Simplicity lost a lot of their gems. They still have 25, 28 now, and 19 in the bank. So I guess they're still working their way to getting that turn in, but No Tomorrow is just as close, and they're also closer to 20. Simplicity wants to keep an eye on that boss. They have to keep an eye on that boss now that that top keep is down.
Simplicity's gonna have to take a team fight.
Well, lucky for them, that's one area that they feel pretty comfortable.
If they give up 20 in another turn in, they have the tools to deal with it, but with a keep already down, you run the risk of going down 2 keeps, potentially 3 keeps, and then any Web Weaver turn in you get beyond that gets neutralized by those catapults. And so you're just gonna have to take a team fight then anyways. The shadow charge in by Jin almost kicked one off right there.
No Tomorrow knows that Simplicity has to keep an eye on the boss. Being able to take out that top keep without getting boss is huge for No Tomorrow. And with that giant camp being up in the bottom, if they want to hold this and wait and not take a fight before 20 happens, which they're willing to do, this Lightning Breath cutting into King Caffeine's health bar. This time the bunker's there.
It's surviving for now, but Jin in deep, and he is the one with all the souls, all the health. Salvo out in return, but all those health bars on the side of No Tomorrow are so high. 2 members down on Simplicity, a 3rd likely to follow as King Caffeine goes down. No Tomorrow, no turn in, no problem. They're going directly to core.
Clearing out the minions. They already have the catapults behind them. 3 people dead for Simplicity and No Tomorrow. Much like we saw from Simplicity in the last game, No Tomorrow is able to make it with 1 team fight back into the series.
Posty and K1 holding on. All for naught, though. Simplicity just seemed to lose control. And it was right before they hit 16.
Yes.
And the talents available to Blaze. He wanted to go into Pyromania heal. Instead he went Spell Armor. You would have had extra healing for Murden. They came up short in that department. No Tomorrow fights their way back in.
It feels like these fights that these teams are winning in this series it's a 1 fight late game, and it unravels everything that had been woven by the previous team, the team that had been in the lead for the entirety of the game. On Towers of Doom, it was that 1 boss fight that I'm pretty sure Simplicity took 4v5, won that fight, and then undid everything and made a miraculous return win on Towers of Doom. And now here, after sustaining a lot of structural damage, though no keeps, No Tomorrow does the same on Tomb.
What are the odds that Diablo makes it through in Game 4?
Goose egg.
It's so improbable that we have 4 zeros up here.
That's 0.000.
Does that make it more
It
than
keeps
0?
going 0.000 because like there's always odds are never actually 0, right? But it's like 0.00001. Math. Check it.
How confident are you in that?
About as confident as I am in every.
What is that noise? That's not very confident based on my understanding of weird
Ghillie
noise.
sounds.
Ghillie sounds based on chances and odds. So no tomorrow. We know that Simplicity likes having first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Towers was already picked by them. Tomb,
Volsky is gone.
Volskaya gone. And looking down at their map pool,
There's some important decisions to make, as there have been throughout this series and continues to be, especially around the mid-game. And lucky for you guys at home, in case you want to improve your mid-game, the decisions around there, we have a guide for you. We talked to a lot of our pro players, as well as one of our commentators, Dreadnought, and got some good tips on how to make decisions around the mid-game, things like when to take camps, when to take bosses. Wasn't that smooth? Like, that was just so smooth, much like these are at home. So make sure you check them out at HGC, or playheroes.com/HGC.
you talking about where my foot just slipped off the chair? Because that totally happened.
Also, yes.
I was like, well, are you calling me out on this? A lot of good content there. A lot of good content.
There is.
Dylan obviously putting in a lot of work. He did that in phase 1, doing it again here, touching base with all those. It's a wealth of content, wealth of knowledge out there that I think a lot of people should look into.
Yeah, you get to hear from some of your favorite players too. Goku is there, Poik is there too. It's awesome. I've read them all, and I feel like I learned a lot.
I feel like I learned what they kind of already told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's always good. It's good to have it in
It's a good
perspective.
refresher. That's how I feel too. It's good to
I think
hear.
it just puts it in perspective. I think that's the best part about those articles.
Yeah, they're good. We're waiting on Simplicity to make the choice between first pick and battleground choice. We'll know soon what they want to do here. Often having first pick, I can see that things are happening over J-House shoulder.
You can see over it?
Mm-hmm. Simplicity picks first pick, and Battlefield of Eternity is where we're going for Game 4.
Proof that you are on a 5-foot box.
I'm messing